This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. It's time for Wyoming Sports Talk today on KRAE. Here are your hosts, Nick and Larry Proetti.
And our program today being brought to you by Mondello's Pizzeria. Again, for takeout, call 778-6068. Joe, along with his great staff, including his brother, his nephew, and all of the wonderful staff there, again, invite you to come to the takeout window or, again, give them a call for delicious Paisan cuisine. Joe beginning his 5th decade in business over at Mondello, still with the #1 pie in Wyoming. Top 10 in the nation by the Food Network, folks. Again, everything fresh, delicious, including those breads that are made for those hot and cold Italian subs, along with those steak subs. Mondello's Pizzeria, 778-6068. Right across the street is First Year Bank, open Monday through Friday, where Tim, Tad, the whole crew invite you to come on by. Whether you're going to do a refi on a home or an auto, hey, interest rates are really, really low, including, on CDs. But if you talk with First Year Bank, they're going to make sure that you get an ample maturity rate on a current CD. So, again, talk with them first. They know more about that stuff than I do. 632-3500. Lennox Auto Body, along with the Auto Glass and Detail Center. Again, top to bottom, bumper to bumper, they will clean it almost like showroom new over at the Auto Glass and Detail Center. And, again, if you've been banged up by some hailstones, get that windshield replaced today over there as well. Now, at the Auto Body Shop and the Paint Shop at 1020 Dunn Avenue, again, if you want it back almost showroom new, let Heather and that great staff take care of you there at Lennox Auto Body, 634-6608. B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue for over 50-plus years, more like 54. B&B Appliance and TV has been your home for GE, Maytag, Frigidaire, Whirlpool, a host of different television brands, and, of course, they got their service department. They service what they sell, or maybe you need some service at your casa. Give them a call, 638-6468. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs on Bluegrass Circle, right next door to Texas Roadhouse. Come inside. They're open Monday through Saturday. They're practicing social distancing or use the convenient drive-thru. And remember, bring your doctor's prescription in so they can fill it properly. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range, right across from Powers Field and Menards. Yes, you can get a milkshake now. They've got the dome lids back with whipped cream and a cherry on top. I like it. Now, again, they are your home for the real chicken sandwich taste. Don't forget to use the Chick-fil-A mobile curbside app. And also, too, they got 2 convenient drive-thrus where they're serving up breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. Chick-fil-A, Windmill, and Del Range, their Parmesan meal kits are for sale, $14.99. Get an original, spicy, or grilled. Pine Valley Bank, banking times 2 for you. 778-0021. Catch them right there at the corner of College and Pershing, or the original location on Vanda High. Again, as I mentioned, with interest rates, great time to do some remodeling around the house, maybe a new paint job, or get that roof replaced, or just refinance the house altogether. Call Rick and the great staff today, 778-0021. Kia of Cheyenne on Nation Way, where they introduce you to the all-new Seltos. The brand new SUV on the lot, you got to take that for a test drive if you go on out to Nation Way. And again, I'm going to go out there, kick a few tires. I'm going to take a test drive and deal with my friends out there at Kia of Cheyenne. They're sanitizing hourly, got hand sanitizer there. Also, too, you can do your business online, KiaofCheyenne.com. Follow all the prompts. They'll take care of the buying, leasing, payments, money down, all that good stuff. And they'll even give you sight unseen trade. They'll give you Kelly Blue Book value. Again, follow all the prompts. It's a pretty simple drill. Kia of Cheyenne. I would rather just go out there and do it personally on Nation Way. And again, our scoreboard is being brought to you by our great friends at Taco John's of Cheyenne. Use the Taco John's app for delivery or go to the convenient drive-thrus. And again, they've got not 1 but 5 convenient drive-thrus for you. How about on Yellowstone? Down the road here, east of us, Del Range and Ridge. East to the south, east-southeast, you'll find them at Pershing and Ridge, downtown on KRAE Avenue, and on the south side on South Greeley Highway. Taco John's of Cheyenne, our scoreboard sponsor. We go first to Nick.
On the local side, coming up at least starting tomorrow in Rock Springs, at least don't have the schedule here in front of me, but for Cheyenne Post 6, again, they will be in pool play of the Wyoming State Tournament, so good luck to the Post 6 Sixers, again, as they will have the 10 a.m. game that we know of. Talking with Ty Lane yesterday, so again, good luck to Cheyenne Post 6 as they start tomorrow out in Rock Springs. NHL action for today and tonight, one game that is already final, that being the New York Islanders, who took care of business against the Florida Panthers, winning that game 4-2. New York Islanders lead that series 2-0. That is an East qualifying game, or at least contest. Into the second period, the Nashville Predators lead the Arizona Coyotes 3-0. Arizona leads that best of 5 series 1-0. That also too is a West qualifying series. Maple Leafs and Blue Jackets scoreless first early on in the first period, and then games coming up later on. At least it looks like on NBC Sports Network, Winnipeg Jets will play the Calgary Flames. At least Carolina Hurricanes will see the New York Rangers, and last but not least, the Vancouver Canucks will take on the Minnesota Wild. So that's what's happening in NHL action for today/tonight.
Major League Baseball, bottom of the 7th inning at Target Field. Twins are leading 7-1 over the Bucks. It's the Indians and the Reds in the 4 o'clock hour. Also the 4 o'clock hour, Red Sox will take on the Rays at the Trop. 5 o'clock games, Mets and the Nats at Nationals Park. Blue Jays Bravos at Trust Park in Cumberland, Georgia. Marlins Orioles at Oriole Park. 6 o'clock games, we'll have the White Sox at the Brewers, Royals at the Cubs at Wrigley. San Francisco will visit the Colorado Rockies at Coors Field. 91 right now currently in downtown Denver. Astros and Diamondbacks, that will be this evening at Chase. Also in the 7 o'clock hour, the Athletics and the Oakland Coliseum will host the Texas Rangers, Dodgers, Padres at Petco. The late game, 8 o'clock game in Seattle at T-Mobile Park, it will be the M's and the Angels. Already wiped out. Yankees and the Phillies, doesn't say anything about COVID. I would venture that it might be weather in New York. Makeup date is scheduled for tomorrow. Cardinals and the Motor City Kitties have been wiped out in their 4-game series. They were planning to make up for tomorrow. Again, more Cardinal players testing for COVID-19.
Especially one Yadier Molina. So, again, it is a COVID outbreak with the Cardinals, as we saw with the Marlins.
And altogether, the Phillies and that Marlins series has been wiped out, too. They haven't even thought about rescheduling all of that. We go over to the NBA. Check out the scoreboard as games are being played at the ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. Overtime right now with about $1:57 to go. Mavs and the Kings tied at 102. Halftime, Clippers are losing to the Suns 63-56. Final in the books already. The Bucks losing to the New Jersey Nets 119-116. 4 o'clock game will have the Magic and the Pacers. 4:30 will be the Celtics and the Heat, and at 7 p.m., Rockets and the Trailblazers, again in Kissimmee, Florida. Our scoreboard brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne.
Taco John's presents the most satisfying burrito ever. Challenge. We challenge you to find a burrito as big on flavor as the new Boss Burrito or Bowl, with over a pound of grilled chicken and cilantro lime rice. And we also challenge you to find it for less than $6. Go ahead. We'll wait. The new $6 Boss Burrito or Bowl from Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. Download the Taco John's app today for even more exclusive deals. Crunching!
B&B Appliance and TV has been your locally owned appliance store. Not only do we offer several major brands, we also service what we sell. And we have the largest parts department in Laramie County. Next time you're in a big box store, just ask to see their parts and service department. Then come visit the appliance experts at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Capital Lumber is number one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger Grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger Grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner. At First Tier Bank, we are proud to be a member of this great community and will always support all of our high school athletes. First Tier Bank takes great pride in sponsoring the live broadcast of the games and would like to wish all of our teams good luck. We share the credo with Newt Rockney when he said, "One man practicing sportsmanship is far better than 100 teaching it." It's all about the high school sports at First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, Cheyenne.
If it happens on the diamond, the hardwood, the field, or even the ice, we'll talk about it on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Hi, this is Nick Peretti inviting you to join Larry Peretti and myself each weekday from 3 to 5 p.m. as we, along with our special guests, talk sports locally, regionally, and nationally. And you can chat with us too at 307-514-1071. It's Wyoming Sports Talk today, only on 1480 KRAE, and you can stream live with us at 1480krae.com.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be cloudy with thunderstorms likely this afternoon with highs around 84. And for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with a chance of rain showers with lows around 54. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms likely throughout the day with highs around 83. And on Wednesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 53.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
And, Wyoming Sports Talk today, Larry Peretti, along with Nick Peretti and our special guest, Mike Apodaca, head coach at Cheyenne Central. Well, we had Chad Whitworth in. We talked with Chad Goff yesterday. Didn't even think to ask Chad since he was a weight room instructor, but you're an instructor as well, too. March 15th hits, everything shut down. What was going on with Mike Apodaca as far as being the teacher and again, too, how did you kind of keep in touch with your kids that are going to be coming out for football this year to say, hey, guys, here's what we need to do during the spring, keep in shape?
Well, it was challenging for sure, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather be doing this now than 25, 30 years ago when you didn't have the access to internet and social media and those sorts of things. So, once things settled down after about a week or so, and the district gave us a plan. We have different systems through the school, a Remind system that allows us to communicate with our kids and really just try to keep them positive early. There were so many unknowns and just let them know to kind of control what they could control. After that, once things settled and we knew which direction we were going, we were able to put workouts out to the kids. We have an online workout program already, and so the kids had access to that even before we left. And so we actually were able to put a workout where kids had, if they had access to a weight room or weight set, they could do it, or body weight workouts. So, I felt like for the most part, we were able to keep our kids going that way. It was just a matter of, like always, were they willing to do it, sort of thing. And I think our group has, come a long way in the last few years and got some good veterans that led the pack with that. But, since then, it's each and every day it looks closer and closer to what we're used to. But, being flexible is key right now.
You get a break to a certain degree this year with the baseball guys. And, again, a lot of football players play baseball. And we're real thankful that Post 6 and even the Extreme and all those other groups got to play baseball and softball and what have you. But the baseball guys are going into their state tournament this weekend. The Hawks team
they're
wrapping up their tournament. So there's not going to be any extra regional type of action or World Series invites. So you're going to get all your players really for the first day of camp coming up on Monday.
Yeah, really excited about that. And, I'm being an old Post 6 guy. Anytime those guys win a state and get to regionals, I'm going to support it. Doesn't mean, we're bummed out that we miss a couple of kids. But last year, we were fortunate as well because they chose to go that Connie Mack route. And that was the week of the state tournament. So we were able to get those guys the first day then. So, yeah, wish those guys luck, and hopefully they bring another one home. But we'll be happy to get back the kids that are Post Sixers.
Who's in better shape? Are the baseball guys, do they come to camp in better shape, or the guy, Larry Proetti that works out with Nick Proetti in the summertime? We lift weights and we go do a little jogging. Who's in better shape?
I don't think it's sports specific. I think it's kid specific. A great example is Andrew Johnson. Is obviously a dude on the Post 6 team. He's going to be a dude for us. And, he's in the weight room working out every day that he can, that either they're not on the road or they have an early game or that sort of thing. So, a kid like that is in great shape either way. I mean, unfortunately, we probably have a couple of football kids that haven't been around as much as we wish they were. And so they're going to come into camp out of shape. So I think it's more dependent on the kid than maybe the sport. But I do think that the nature of our training is if a kid is coming to our workouts in the morning, they come in pretty great shape.
So for you, Coach, and we'll stick on the theme with Andrew Johnson, where news came out a couple of weeks ago, or if not about a month ago, saying, hey, this is a guy that's now on a preseason All-American watch list across the entire nation. I think USA Today came out with that. So for you as a head coach getting ready for what is going to be an interesting 2020 campaign, but so far so good that we are set on time and that we have a chance to at least crown a champion, at least in the state of Wyoming for football. But having a talent like that is on a nationwide kind of watch list, that is going to be a part of your team. What does that kind of tell you as a coach of what you can build around with Andrew Johnson?
Yeah, Andrew's a special kid, and I go back to when we first got here, and he was a sophomore, and I mean, you saw the athleticism. It was very apparent then. I remember going up to Thunder Basin, and he just kind of getting worked by Blaine Allen, who was pretty good in of itself out at Thunder Basin, and to watch Andrew's maturity over that year and just get better and better to then lead off last year's game at Thunder Basin, denying the Allen kid any catches, and then parlaying that into a great year in a Super 25 and the accolades that he got, is that we're really excited. And what's fun to watch is a kid start seeing those sorts of things come his way, their level of confidence and that sort of stuff, and excitement about the season just goes. And then that's infectious to the rest of the kids as one of your leaders. So I'm looking forward to a great year from Andrew.
Well, and again, looking toward, or at least forward, a great year for Cheyenne Central just in general, where you have, again, the QB position is the only kind of up in air right now. Again, we talked with Feezer, and we had him in studio where he feels confident that he wants to kind of get that starting role and he's going to be competitive for it. And we saw what he could do last year for your team. But, again, you got a lot of solid players returning a part of this crew. Again, whether it is Andrew Johnson, whether it is with Carter Labatos, also to his brother as well. You have a lot of big-time playmakers that are going to return. And also, too, possible – I guess what I'm alluding to, Coach, is where we're seeing, since you've taken over this program, you've kind of built this team up step by step where it is improving year by year, where it's almost back to that kind of prestigious level.
What you're not saying, Nick, is that you're loaded for bear this year. You got the hosses up front, too.
We bring back a good group, and, the more you talk about it, talent-wise, it's there. I don't think there's any denying that. But I think what you're really seeing is that experience level. It wasn't too long ago. You guys were calling games when we started up in Thunder Basin in a playoff where we had 10 freshmen and sophomores starting 2 years ago, and they took their lumps, but they hung in there. They believed in what we were doing, and really credit to them of coming to work every day. And it's exciting to know. And I'd be lying to you if selfishly. Obviously, being a football coach is part of what I do, but knowing how hard we worked and the group we were bringing back, it was a little daunting to think that maybe that would get taken away. And so we're really going to approach this on a day-by-day, and I know the kids are. They're just thankful to know they have a chance.
No, this is something I asked Chad Goff, and we'll ask you and also, too, eventually when we get Dan Gallison, Cheyenne South head football coach. But, for what is 2020, where we know everything's on time, scheduling looks to be at least what was anticipated, where it should be kind of quote-unquote normal this year for football here in the state of Wyoming, especially in Class 4A. But for you as a head coach, what's kind of the mantra for your student athletes when we get into practice or we get prepared for games here very shortly here in the month of August, where as we know, everything and anything can change on a dime here, where you could not have a week 0. You could not be participating in the playoffs, especially what we saw last year with basketball. How do you kind of keep the student athletes motivated, or at least keep them focused on, hey, be prepared for anything, but let's get out there and put the best out there on that field?
You know, last week really changed a lot of things, because up until last week, we were still not sure what was going on. And so, you know, the kids through routine, and kids are routine people like we are. You know, they came in the weight room. We got a good group, so they did their thing. But I really saw last week where you know, the pep in the step kind of came when they realized they had one. And we talked about it, is that they all know, whether they were a basketball player or a track person, whatever, in the spring soccer player, they now understand and realize that this stuff can get taken. You know, we've talked, all of us are athletes in here, and our former athletes, I should say, and we've all heard that from a coach about, hey, you never know when it's going to end, this, that, and the other. And we were young too, and it's in one ear and out the other. And I think for the first time, these kids have something to grasp on, that we really did have something taken away, and they do know they have a chance for a special season. So, you know, we will continue preaching that to them as that day-by-day approach, and enjoy it. You know, enjoy being around and getting to play with your buddies, even at practice, because it can go that fast, as we've learned.
For you, at least before, at least
That's
whatever
right,
question you got, and you can sit idly by, you can take a rest for anything. But for you, Coach, again, obviously, focus is mainly on the field, or especially the classroom there at Cheyenne Central, with your athletes, and get prepared for this upcoming season. But especially with what's going on in the world with the COVID-19 pandemic, is the focus also too going to shift to outside of the classroom, outside of, more so into those student athletes' kind of personal lives, to kind of make sure, hey, wear those masks. Let's make sure that we are not jeopardizing this season for whatever reason of catching this, you know, this virus, so to speak. Is that also too going to shift a little bit for you for what is 2020?
Yeah, you know, I mean, and I'm sure most football coaches do, but, you know, we always talk about a program, and we talk to our parents about being a part of the program, and so on and so forth. And again, it holds so much more true this year, is that when we do get a parent meeting, and that may be virtual, you know, which will be different, but the reality is what we'll be talking about is those things that, you know, I know, you know, how everybody was worried that a season might not happen. Well, it's here, and all of you, not just the kids, but, you know, parents in their jobs and in their social lives and those sorts of things, are really going to have to take that added step, you know, if we want to all see this happen. And I think, you know, Ron Laird talked about that today in our football coaches meeting, is just how we've got to echo that all year.
You know, we're talking with Mike Apodaca, head coach of the Cheyenne Central Indians. You know, you came up here. This will be your 3rd season, and again, talking about this group that are going to be seniors this year. You had them on the field, sophomores and freshmen. Again, like you said, we were there when you took your lumps at Thunder Basin, your first season. But last year was that unique year. And then we already knew Sheridan was a good program. We're not going to ever take anything away from the Bronx. They just reload. Chad's done a great job over at Cheyenne East. Natrona, you know, Harshman's had a good program. When did you feel last year? Because that was the breakout year for the Indians. I mean, the Indians last year showed all of the programs in the state of Wyoming were back. When did you have that breakthrough with this team last year?
You know, I probably would say, looking back, it was probably the East game, even though we lost it. For the first time in several years, we were competitive and knew that a play here and a play there changes the outcome of that game. And I think once the kids grasp that and understand how close they were, and it wasn't just go in there and you know, get on the bus and go home and for the next one. And so that's probably the first step, and I think that then parlayed into Natrona. And then I think once, you know, we got over the hump in Natrona, you know, things just really started rolling for us.
Did that team surprise you more than anything last year, or was this what you were, you know, this is the way the X's and O's were drawn up?
Well, I'd like to tell you it was, and maybe in the back of my mind I saw it, but you know, they had to believe it and do it. And I think once they started believing in themselves and believing in the program, that they were every bit as talented and capable of you know, doing the things that we thought they were, it would happen. And that's what happened. And, you know, they took it from there.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with more Wyoming Sports Talk today, and Mike Apodaca, head coach at Cheyenne Central, after these words.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
Is a refinance right for you? Rates are great. With a refinance from Platte Valley Bank, you can save money, lower your monthly payment, pay off other outstanding debt, or even shorten your loan term. Ask a Platte Valley Bank mortgage lender how a refinance could benefit you today, or start the process online at www.pvbank.com.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply.
Are you looking for fun? The all-new, completely redesigned 2020 Kia Soul has what you're looking for. AJ Miller here for Kia of Cheyenne, and the 2020 Kia Soul has updated details inside and out to provide great comfort and drivability. Check out the high-tech features available. Turbocharged engine, paddle shifters, and an 8-inch heads-up color display. Come in today, call 775-0123, or go to KiaofCheyenne.com, and we'll make it easy.
Or other precious metals, you will be met with honesty, fairness, knowledge, and exceptional customer service. The Coin Shop has been serving Cheyenne since 1982 and is a respected member of our community. Call David today at 778-7196 to meet privately or visit during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. The Coin Shop, a dealer you can trust, 510 West 16th Street.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys heard only right here feature Wild Turkey American Honey, 750 milliliter bottle, $14.99. Rolling Rock, 18-pack of 12-ounce cans, $10.99. And Tanqueray Gin, 750 milliliter bottle, $15.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low price leader. Chick-fil-A at Windmill and Del Range across from Powers Field is a proud sponsor of our high school and LCCC student athletes. Chick-fil-A always offers 2 convenient drive-through lanes to pick up your order if you are on the go. Plus, they have an excellent dining room for the whole family. And remember to order ahead, use the Chick-fil-A app on your phone. Stop into Chick-fil-A today, open Monday through Saturday, where you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Your home for the real chicken sandwich taste. Chick-fil-A, Windmill and Del Range. Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 KRAE AM, are just that, local, serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 KRAE.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be cloudy with thunderstorms likely this afternoon with highs around 84. Then for tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with a chance of rain showers with lows around 54. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms likely throughout the day with highs around 83. And on Wednesday night, it'll be partly cloudy with lows around 53.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk today after the break. This is going to be something nice to say to you, Coach. And again, with the Cheyenne Central Indians, and thinking back to our initial conversation way back when, wanting to bring this program back to its prominence, its roots, how it was when you were there. And me personally, as I take a look at the makeup of your team, if everything goes according to Hoyle, and I'll go even further in the quarterback situation, but isn't it nice to possibly be that team that has a target on its back this year?
It is. You know, if you're not in this business for the right reason. So we absolutely, you know, embrace that piece of it. And I think just like we said with some of the COVID stuff going on and not knowing when a plug could be turned, you better bring your best every week. So I think it's twofold for us.
You know, last year, and again, the first thing you have to do, especially on that offensive side with that 11 is fine. Dawson McCleary's replacement, and it's too bad that Dawson didn't have another year. I mean, the gentleman was fantastic last season. Feaser saw a little bit of action as a freshman, but also, too, you converted a freshman who was a sophomore last year as a wide receiver, Nathaniel Talich. And, again, he's a very talented athlete, and, again, plays basketball as well, too. Is he a possible candidate? Tell us a little bit about that quarterback position. Who's coming to camp and who's going to vie for that number one spot?
Yeah, I think both the kids you talked about are the two that'll probably work towards that position, in Nathaniel Talich and Bradley Feaser. And boy, they both bring such great things. You guys have watched Nathaniel, especially on the basketball court, where in football with the talent he had around him, sometimes he may take a little bit of a back seat per se in the headlines. But the kid's just a grinder. You see it in the basketball. He's a tough kid. Just so coachable and anticipation and some of those sorts of things. Bradley's the big arm kid. Big quarterback, big arm. Those sorts of things. And so they're both such good kids and both coachable that I really see a lot of good things happen. And, if I were sitting in this chair, I would rather bring in a young quarterback with 10 great kids around him than a great quarterback, with not as much talent. We did that 3 years ago. Dawson was pretty dang good, a couple of years ago, but didn't have a ton around him, and that's a heck of a lot harder. So I think, kids like that, when you got the kids that they'll be handing the ball off to and throwing to, I think they just need to understand that they've just got to do their little part. They don't need to try to be Dawson and just, do their little piece of the puzzle.
Coach, and I hate to say this because media, talking heads, parents, polls, whatever the case would be, your kids are going to see it. They know that they're going to get a lot of respect this year, whether it's preseason or during the season, and fingers crossed everything goes well for the Cheyenne Central Indians. Same thing was with the basketball team last year. They had so much press about them. They had all the polls in their favor. I know Coach Tag Lane kept them on an even keel, and I expect you'll do the same thing. But kids are kids. They're going to get excited knowing that Larry Proetti and Nick Proetti are saying the Central Indians are number one, and Mom and Dad says, hey, boy, College City's coming out to watch you play. So, I mean, how do you keep these kids on that even plane?
Well, Coach Lane and I, he was, I don't want to date either of us, but he was actually my Hawks coach when I was 16. He was a young coach then, and so we've known each other forever. Him and my dad coached together, and so we talk a lot. And one of the things that we talked about when I came here is how important it is for our kids to be multi-sport athletes and for both programs. And I think most people, when they hear that, they think about the athleticism that's going on and this, that, and the other. But a part of that is the experiences that these kids have. And all of a sudden, those kids had a ton of experience, which is the positive side of that. They had a great season, won a lot of games, and they learned how to win and this, that, and the other. But on the flip side, they obviously faced a big disappointment. And we have a lot of those kids that play football for us. And we've talked about it, of how quickly things can turn when you're not in your A game and you let that. And so I think they're able to internalize it now. Again, going back to that COVID thing, when something gets taken, you don't know it till it happens. Kind of the same thing. So we really are talking a lot about that, and I think our kids, because they're an older group right now, are really taking that to heart.
So keeping on the theme with COVID-19 and something I asked Chad, and again we'll ask you and Dan Gallis as well too, where we're seeing on the pro side, even collegiate, it came out today saying at least my former school, the Idaho Vandals, at least that football program basically came out today and said, hey, we're not interested in playing football this year. That coming from at least those student athletes up there in Moscow, Idaho, where asking Chad this, I'll get the at least indication from you, or at least what you've kind of seen so far. Granted, practice is happening here very shortly, and you'll get a better understanding. But you've seen pro athletes, you've seen college athletes opt out from playing whatever sport this season due to COVID-19. Not saying that it's going to happen here in the city of Cheyenne, but it is a realistic possibility that it could. Mm-hmm. For you, Coach, has any inclinations, or at least has any of your players come out and said, yeah, I'm not playing, or family members saying, hey, he is not playing football this year? Have you gotten any of those so far?
We haven't. We feel fortunate about that, and the reality is right now our numbers are the best they've been in 3 years and sort of thing. But on the flip side, we do understand that if something comes up and somebody's got something compromised at home, that we have to be ready. And to that point, I think that one of the biggest things that's going to happen this year for the teams couple of teams that end up at the top of this thing is going to be that depth piece of it, both in terms of somebody getting sick, whether it's a kid or a parent home. Now they have to quarantine, those sorts of things, but we're definitely mindful of that. But I think these kids just see themselves not differently in that they're invincible, but as we talked, I don't know that it's the prime age group. I think where they don't have kids and wives and those sorts of things that are maybe different, and so I think the situations are a little bit different. But knock on wood, so far we've got all our kids ready to go.
And I want to get your thoughts as well too of what's been outlined by the Activities Association, where we know some changes. Granted, everything's on time. Scheduling looks to be what was at least pre-COVID-19 for 2020, but the only thing changing is the playoff format, especially the state title. At least contests were no longer being played at War Memorial Stadium. Instead, it will be hosted by the top-seeded team here in Class 4A. I've been a part of that old school way where we hosted a game, at least that East Central matchup back in 2006. Never got that chance to go over to Laramie. For you, is that something that, hey, you're kind of happy with? Is that also to a motivating kind of factor as well, too, for your team of saying, hey, we could host the state title game here at Risky Field?
I wouldn't complain to be in that game wherever it's at, sort of thing. But the reality is of it, I only know the same thing is having it at a home site. The year we won it, we were in Evanston. But I actually probably favor the local sites. I really do. I just think that the environment is just it's better. It's what high school football is about. And again, not that that's not a great experience to play at UW, but definitely not something that I'll be bummed about. Whether we get the chance or to watch. It's just a neat thing, I think.
Over at the feeder schools, and again, you mentioned this yesterday with Coach Goffnick, with KRAE and building the new facility, and again, they're laying down the carpet for their new stadium, and of course, over at McCormick, they've got the all-weather turf down there, and again, just the look over there at McCormick kind of gives you that excitement to go out. Obviously, and you mentioned Tag Lane when you played from the Hawks and stuff, and these guys always would look down at the younger programs. Have you had that opportunity to go over and chat with the McCormick program, and if so, how's the future, the Central Indian future with these McCormick kids coming over to the high school?
Well, great. My first year here as a teacher, I was half Central, half McCormick, and so that was a great year in terms of just making those connections at McCormick. This past year that we just ran, that might have been one of the most challenging things. Is that I was just at Central teaching at that point, and so I wasn't around McCormick as much, and we lost that time of both practice, getting to know those kids. So that was tough. But this group of 8th graders in particular, it's coming in. They've been part of our camps and in our weight room for the last 2 years, and they're a really good group, and we're excited about our triad, and I think it's kind of starts at the top, and I think if we have success, it kind of filters down. So building that program is definitely from the youth level up, without a doubt.
Real quick, as we want to thank you for coming in today, but I got one last question for you, and I asked Coach Goff this yesterday. Let's size up 4A this year. Again, we know that Chad's going to reload over there. We know Lenhart's got a good little program that he's starting to build over at Rock Springs, similar to Cheyenne Central. We know the Neutronas of the world, Sheridans of the world. We'll even give Coach Bakula his prompts over there at Thunder Basin. This thing, I don't want to say is open this year, but it's going to be a lot tighter at the top.
It's definitely deeper than it's been obviously in the 3 years I've been here, but just following this division for 10 years, as you guys know, it's 4 teams, and the rest were just darn near practice games, and so I think it's great, and I'm glad we're in the conversation. But to have 8, 9, 10 teams is even better. That's what you want. It raises the level of Wyoming football and the competition that these kids see. So really excited about the depth and excited for the opportunity this year.
And how important will it be here for your kids, especially these senior kids, since we got word earlier today that Colorado is going to be backed up to March football? How important is it for your kids now? Will they be under, let's put it this way, will they be under the collegiate spotlight a little bit more, being the only fall program around here in business?
Tell you what, we're hoping that more and more states move to the spring, and we're going to invite ESPN down to Wyoming and watch some good Wyoming football. But, yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I think that's a great point. I haven't really thought about it much, but without a doubt, when there's limited teams to watch, and as far as I know, the recruiting calendar hasn't changed for the NCAA, and, so they're still going to be locked in. So all of a sudden, a kid that, may not have gotten that look is going to get looked on a little bit closer and an opportunity to prove. So, I sure hope so that the state of Wyoming football gets showcased a little bit because it deserves it.
Something I want to ask you, Coach, and this kind of we've talked off air about this, and again, obviously you have a little bit more internal knowledge of how things work on the school side, on the high school athletics side, whether it is your time down in Colorado, now up here in the state of Wyoming. But with those student athletes down there in Colorado, whether it is northern Colorado, Denver metro area, or just throughout that entire state, do they have that option to basically look up and say, hey, I got Uncle Billy up in Cheyenne. Well, my season's not starting on time. Wyoming's is. My residence is now in Cheyenne, Wyoming, to go play at Cheyenne Central, East or South. Is that a reality that we could face, that we could see Colorado student athletes now just transfer on up, as there is some time to do that right now before school starts?
And there are also multi-sport athletes down there as well, too.
Yeah, they also, too, kind of focus on football and then for basketball as well, too. But is that a possibility? Is that a reality?
I hope not. And I say that, twofold. One, I'm perfectly content with our kids, and they're the ones that have put in the work, and want to see them do it. But if I think what I've heard from the association, if a state cancels their season for any reason, then that would be an opportunity for a kid to transfer without any restrictions. But in Colorado's case, from what I know, you couldn't just move with the uncle into Cheyenne and play, because Colorado is going to have a season in the spring. So I'm sure people could find a way around it if they wanted to. But like I said, we're excited about our kids, here in Cheyenne, and looking forward to working with them.
Well, and going back to Nick's point, and I know we want to let you go here, Coach, but being a coach in Colorado, this would have to, touch home a little bit with you. If your football season got moved back to March, you're competing with the likes of basketball, but you also compete with baseball, track and field. Boy, I mean, they're trying to combine 4 sports within about 3 months. I tell you, that'd be tough to get kids out.
And also, too, for March, where we're even in this part of the world, but down there in Colorado, heavy snow is again a common theme down there. So,
but it's still 10 degrees warmer though.
Right.
But again,
they still have you. I mean, the Front Range obviously has some maybe a little bit better weather, but you're still dealing with the the mountain towns, the eastern plains that, the spring is not pretty there. It looks a lot like here kind of thing. And so I wouldn't want to be in that position, honestly. I just think that, we already battle right now with kids and trying to single sport stuff and, wanting to play a club season instead of, a high school season. And now when you're starting to talk kids, their club season's being taken away, there are going to be some kids that are just not going to choose to play one of the sports. And I know they tried to do their best down there, but I'm just glad here that we had the foresight to get her going and let our kids play.
Coach, we welcome you anytime back in the studio. We wish you all the best. I know we
will hopefully see you out there at Risky and get you.
Yeah, well, we got you on the schedule quite a bit this year, so we're looking forward to Cheyenne Central football this year. And again, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to talk to you guys.
Mike Apodaca right here on 1480 KRAE. Take a timeout. We'll be right back.
B&B Appliance and TV has been your locally owned appliance store. Not only do we offer several major brands, we also service what we sell. And we have the largest parts department in Laramie County. Next time you're in a big box store, just ask to see their parts and service department. Then come visit the appliance experts at B&B Appliance and TV, 714 Central Avenue. Best brands, hometown service.
Capital Lumber is number 1 in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
Since 1966, family-owned and operated Capital Lumber Company has been the stop for all lumber, paint, tools, accessories, remodel and do-it-yourself projects, and so much more. Now, Capital Lumber Company announces the beginning of a tasty relationship with Traeger grills, as they now have in stock several models of Traeger grills, along with pellets and accessories. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue in Cheyenne.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner. At First Tier Bank, we are proud to be a member of this great community and will always support all of our high school athletes. First Tier Bank takes great pride in sponsoring the live broadcast of the games and would like to wish all of our teams good luck. We share the credo with Newt Rockney when he said, "One man practicing sportsmanship is far better than 100 teaching it." It's all about the high school sports at First Tier Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue, Cheyenne.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-through window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-through window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high school football and basketball, along with LCCC men's and women's basketball. Now combo that with KYOY FM and you have Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM and FM radio stations. But we don't stop there. We also have 2 FM translators which serve the area with programming from both KRAE and KYOY. And that equals a lot of bang for your advertising dollar. Radio yesterday and now today, along with our websites, web streams, and digital ventures makes us your one-stop shop. For more information, please call Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
We are the key to your cleaning success. The Key People that provides affordable office and professional cleaning services for over 40 years with exceptional customer care. All of our contractors have background checks and are licensed and bonded. We guarantee you a safe and secure service that is tailored to your individual and business needs. The Key People do not impose year-long contracts, and all quotes are free, confidential, and personalized. Call Key People at 1-800-468-8283. That's 1-800-468-8283.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480, KRAE.
We're going to be with you just for a few more minutes. Again, thank you to head coach Mike Apodaca. Yesterday, too, again, thank you to head coach Chad Goff. Hopefully we'll get Dan Gallison here, and that will complete our Cheyenne contingent. Again, we're looking at Will Gray from Pine Bluffs.
There you go, and Brad Morrison from Burns.
So, yeah, we'll take care of our county and get a little brief preview of and again, I think you and me are going to be on that positive note that everything's going to go. Baseball proved it. It's sailed through this year without any hiccups here in this state.
Oh, I thought you were taking MLB.
No. I'm talking about
baseball, even with crowds.
And softball.
Again, you would hope so, and I would think so. Obviously, the more stricter kind of restrictions, or at least more eyeballs, are going to be on the larger communities here in the at least state of Wyoming, like Cheyenne, Casper, Gillette. But again, for the smaller communities where again not a whole lot of people live and are going to interact with and potentially pass this virus around, like Burns, like Pine Bluffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how those seasons go underway, what they do regarding fans, media as well too. So,
and similar to what we're experiencing now here in our part of the world, weather. Weather is great in this part of the world all the way through the end of October. So, we're looking at, our falls sometimes are an extension of our August, our summer. So if we're looking at any hiccups in the weather, once in a while you get a little snowstorm that comes in or, thunderstorms. But bottom line, we should be,
but they understand,
the folks outside should be in a very comfort zone.
The understanding as well, too, with football is that there is a kind of kill date, so to speak, where if it gets pushed back more and more, it can't go past this certain deadline. So we'll see what happens with that regarding weather and everything. But again, hopefully it'll go smoothly, go on without a hiccup. And I would venture that it should. So,
and one of the nice things too, is we're keeping tabs on everything that's going on. More Nick than myself. I'm doing other things, but Nick, comes in and relays the stories to me before we went to air. The situation in Colorado and CSU back to back. I mean, the news out of Colorado today, not good.
Yeah, it was pretty rough of CSU, and more so focusing on the football side, which again is going to affect the Mountain West Conference, even University of Wyoming, where right now the Mountain West Conference kind of just sits in limbo, where we're still waiting any word of what's going to happen with football this year. The only word that we've gotten is if there is a season. I think of recent AD Tom Berman basically came out and said that we're looking at less than 30% capacity at War Memorial Stadium for home games.
Which would be anywhere between 9,000-10,000 in that stadium.
So drastic. And again, he alluded to that about a couple months ago when we had him on the show, saying that's going to be the reality, possibly that it's going to be about a third full.
And I would venture to say the press box will have some limitations as well, too. Again, being in the media, because we all sit pretty tight down on that front section
There's
of the press
some
room
on there, and you would wonder that some of these traveling, at least media sites, may not even come or at least rely on. Again, it might be where you're restricted of those local to your state are the only ones going to be in that press box, and then you just relay that information.
And here's the interesting thing, too, where you're talking about the travel teams. Will they fly into Denver, DIA, or do they fly into Cheyenne and bus over to Laramie? I mean, a lot of these travel arrangements.
Who says they can't land in Laramie?
You can, but I would say Cheyenne. Cheyenne is your better bet to bring in these charters. But
either way,
a lot of this stuff remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, for CSU, the bad news came out, especially throughout the entire athletic program, but more so focus was football, where I think 11 new cases were tested positive for COVID-19, so having a little bit of an outbreak down there in Fort Collins. So you wonder if that kind of puts CSU in jeopardy of their season or what's going to happen. As I mentioned with Mike Apodaca. And this
on the high school side.
Well, I'm talking more so of in collegiate football. And you wonder with CSU and you wonder with other schools if this might be the trend, or as, again, the kind of key words of what we've been hearing more so on the political side, but it's kind of a growing trend of that silent majority. You wonder if there are going to be more players of what we saw up in Moscow, Idaho with the Idaho Vandals, where I think it was 60 out of 82 student athletes came out and said that we're not interested in playing. We don't want to risk anything. We're not playing. We don't want to play a football season. And Coach Petrino up there and the AD as well too at Idaho basically said, "Hey, we stand by you and we'll look into it." You wonder if there are athletes at UW or CSU now or throughout the entire Mountain West or again collegiate programs throughout the entire nation that have not spoken up about this. Maybe too afraid about it, or who knows for the reason, but are sitting idly by saying, I really don't want to be a part of this.
And hopefully, as we did in 2019, and when we sit down at this time next year in 2021, we're talking about Media Day over at the University of Wyoming, and the world becomes a regular stomping ground again. Because again, I'm banking on the science to come through for us.
Well, if you're going to believe in the World Health Organization, they're saying this is just one big swath and then it's gone. It's not going to reappear as what was indicated a couple months ago, where we were anticipating a resurgence in the fall and wintertime. No, it's just pretty much we're going through it.
And actually, we're dealing with it, and then looking at the stats this morning, it's kind of leveled off. So that's good news right now for the country. Yeah. But like I said, hopefully, and again, it's like everyone that we've talked to since we've been back doing this a little more regularly, everybody says, what a difference a year makes. Well, again, if we can just get through the remainder of 2020 and take 2021 on by the horns, and hopefully if there's an injection to be made as far as a vaccine or a pill to be taken, hopefully we get those taken care of, and we can probably have some semblance of, spring training baseball again in Arizona and Florida. Yeah. Like you said, the XFL getting back in business. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So again, I got to play the optimistic card right now.
The optimistic card is here in the state of Wyoming.
Yeah, if you want to watch football, you want to come out and watch some cross country, you want to watch golf, you want to watch the fall sports, they're going to be tapered down a little bit. They're going to be watered down, not so much football, but the other sports are going to be watered down. but they're going on as scheduled.
I
They're
don't know
not
how
backed
they're
up.
going to be watered down again. All it's changing is that you're not going to have the extended invitationals, but again,
That's what I'm saying. Is,
competition's still going to be there.
Well, but again, a lot of these
you make it sound
tournaments-
like they're it's
these
gonna be
invitationals
like
are pretty
week
doggone. They're a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, but again, they're still competing in an aspect, and again, it's still going to be on time, but it's just a slight alteration. So it is what it is.
But you go to Colorado, and when you brought that up today, right away I thought, because I think back in my case, and you can too in your case, and I know we need to get ready to wrap things up, but football for me was August through November. And the one season I did wrestling. Wrestling took me from November all the way into January, February, and then I went right into baseball, February to June. So, these student athletes down in Colorado, which they play baseball too.
Yeah.
So let's think about it. You're going to move football into the spring.
If you look at some of the schedules, and we'll make this very quick, but again, if you look at what the state of Colorado came out, at least their Activities Association came out with today, saying, or at least that scheduling for winter and springtime, they will have some. I think softball, men's tennis is going to happen here in the month of August, or at least they're going to have fall sports.
Softball's for the women.
Yeah, softball, again, tennis, all that good stuff. But for football, for basketball, for baseball, that is winter, springtime now in 2021. That came out official as of today. Again, some of it does kind of bleed into the start of other sports. For instance,
they run on top of each
again,
other.
basketball,
Actually.
if it is basketball, if you let me speak again, basketball, I think it was March 6th was the tentative championship date, or at least crowning date. The start of the football season, and again, not even practice, but start of the season was March 4th. So you wonder if you want to be a dual sport athlete, if you could pull that off. Again, that's asking a lot, though, out of a student athlete to go, hey, basketball straight into football and just kind of continue on for months and months and months.
And again, football usually has a couple of weeks to get ready.
Yeah, not even without a break. It's pretty much, you got to jump for it and get into it. So you wonder, how many of these dual sport athletes kind of opt out, or at least are going to be gassed out at a point
And
in
go
time.
football to baseball.
Who knows right now?
So, again,
But again, right now, not to sound cruel or harsh, that's a Colorado problem.
Yeah.
That's what they decided on. And again, that's the beauty of state borders here in this country. We're up here in Wyoming, where, again, we have the least populated state in the entire country. We can go as normal, or at least normal-ish.
And that's like Adam Galicia and both Ty Lane said. That's why teams out of Colorado were calling up here to play, because they had nowhere to go. They had nowhere to play, nowhere to practice, so they came up here. So again, this could be the hotbed for some good sports coming up here in the fall, as well as leading into the winter. Again, fingers